So I had struggled with opiates for around 10 years. I really struggled to get off them, and I came to CGL when I was at a really low point, and I just desperately needed help. I found it really difficult with a lot of things. Like, it would control pretty much my entire day-to-day life. I'd get up, I'd use, it would control pretty much my entire morning. I wasn't socializing properly because I was just like half asleep all the time. And then when I was going out, all I was doing was thinking about when I could next use and when I could like get home to use again, and my social life just fell apart. And then the social life that I did have was completely wrapped around my drug use, so it wasn't ideal at all. Yeah, so I ended up taking Esprinol, which CGL prescribed me, and it was great for the first couple of weeks, but I really struggled to get into the routine of picking up every day. That was massively stressful to me. Having to like go to my pharmacy and wait and hope that they had actually got it ready was really difficult, because some of the time I'd get there and they hadn't got it ready. Other times they'd lose the prescription, and there was no bigger fear than getting there and them telling you they didn't have your prescription. Then you had to spend the entire day without Esprinol waiting for withdrawal symptoms to happen, and that was just awful. And then it kind of pushed you into that weird zone where you wanted to use again, because it was easier to go out and get your substance than it was to get your Esprinol, and that was a weird, horrible situation to be in. And the pharmacy would call you at like stupid times and be like, oh, we found it, you know, come and get it, but it'd be like 10 minutes before the pharmacy shut, and if you lived anywhere that wasn't within a 5-minute walking distance of a pharmacy, you weren't going to get it. So when I went onto weekly, it was a lot better, but then I found myself that I'd got like a week's worth of Esprinol, and then I'd have some days where I was like, oh, I could take 2 on one day and then 1 on the next day, and then it screwed up what I was supposed to be taking. And then I ended up realizing that the treatment that was supposed to be getting me off opiates, I could risk myself getting addicted to. And if I did that, I was going to screw up my entire recovery plan. So I was at CGL talking about how I was irritated that my pharmacy was constantly being back and forth and not being consistent, and that it was generally affecting my recovery journey. And I talked to the lovely nurses here, and they genuinely said to me, have you heard of Buvidal? And I was like, no, what is it? It sounds kind of weird. But when they explained it, I kind of thought, actually, this is probably the best treatment option for me, because it meant I didn't have to go to my pharmacy, and it meant I couldn't interfere with it. Like, I wasn't going to be able to squidge my little bit of stomach and try and get the drug to go in faster. There was no way I could interfere with it. And with the career that I'm in, I work in festivals. It meant that I could travel to different festivals and not have to take my Esprinol with me, have it get it checked by security. And I could also travel more freely and not have to go back to my pharmacy every week to go and pick up. And that was awesome. Major concern that I had was that it was relatively new. But I kind of put that to one side because I thought about the COVID vaccines, and I thought about how quickly they got put through, and we're all still alive from those, and they've done great things. And I thought the Buvidal has been processed a lot slower and a lot more thought out than that. And this is something that's been put forward to really help people. So the first injection stung, I'm not gonna lie, but it went really quick. Like within about 30-40 seconds it had gone, and it was kind of like a pulsing kind of sting, which was weird. I hadn't felt that before. And then after that I felt nothing. It had just gone, and that was really cool. And then you have like this kind of pea-sized lump under your skin, which is kind of fun to wiggle for the first time, and that's kind of cool. But then after that you generally forget about it, and that was really nice. And I didn't think about it once, and it was like I wasn't addicted to drugs, and I could live freely, not thinking about drugs, not thinking about withdrawal, and I genuinely felt like free. And it was such an alien experience because I hadn't ever had that. Like even with Esprinol, I had to remember that I had to collect it, I had to take it. It was still like a habitual thing where I had to like put it on my tongue and I had to remember to let it dissolve. I still had the taste. But with the Buvidal I didn't have that, and I didn't have it every day. And then I'd come in for the next one and I'd know it'd sting for a little bit, but I was like prepared for that, and it didn't hurt as much the next time or the time after that. And it just got better every time. I would say it was pretty similar to Esprinol, but the only thing that was different was that I didn't have the additional stress from going to my pharmacy. That made a big difference because I wasn't constantly traveling, I wasn't constantly waiting for something, I wasn't constantly worrying that I wasn't going to get my Esprinol. I had my Buvidal, I had what I needed. And to have that stress alleviated was massive. I've noticed that I have less pain overall as well. I don't know if that was the intended effect of Buvidal, but it's been a great side effect. I have ankylosing spondylitis, so my spine is slowly fusing together, and actually this has been a great painkiller as well. So that's been great. My mood has generally been better as well, which has been great, and I think that's because I've been able to focus on my recovery journey. And I've been able to do that because I haven't had to worry about the pharmacy side of things. It's just been taken care of, which has allowed me to focus purely on my recovery, which has been bliss, frankly. And it's just, allowed me to pave my way and kind of find my way into a nice, sober future. Honestly, the freest has been that I can travel with like work and stuff. Like I've been able to work Glastonbury, and I've been able to do amazing festivals like Creamfields, and without that I wouldn't have been able to do those festivals, because to work Glastonbury I need to be there for like 10 days, and I wouldn't be able to do that otherwise. So much support since I started Buvidal. I've got more nurses than I've got arms. I've got an amazing key worker, and I've got the main desk if I want to phone anyone and ask any questions. Literally any question I've come up with, I've just texted it and I've almost got an answer by the end of the day. Or if if one of the nurses is in a really good mood, usually within about half an hour. But it's been great, honestly. Literally any question about anything, whether it's related to Buvidal or if I'm starting a new drug from my GP and I'm worried it might interact, I just text here and I get an answer, and then I can let my GP know, even though my GP probably should know, but you know, they like to be a bit careful because a lot of the GPs don't know about Buvidal. So I like to kind of cover all my bases. But yeah, CGL have been absolutely great since I started it, and I've just generally felt way more supported. I think it's been massively important. I think I've felt more supported now than I did with Esprinol, but I think that's partially because I have to come in to get it, and having that face-to-face makes a big difference. Seeing somebody face-to-face and them genuinely kind of asking how are you is different from a pharmacist who's going to see you every day and just kind of hand you your Esprinol, and you feel like almost like a job or like an item that needs to be just dealt with. And it's very different when you go in and have a face-to-face kind of meeting with someone. I hope to continue it as long as it's available. It has genuinely been the best decision I think I've ever made in my life. It has honestly opened up so many doors for me, which previously wouldn't have been there. And I can't see myself going back on Esprinol, and frankly the idea terrifies me, because I can't see myself sticking to my daily prescription, and I can't see myself going to my pharmacy daily to pick up. And if I go weekly, I know that it will screw up what I do for work, and I know that I'll lose out on work placements because of it. My long-term goals are to gradually come down on my dose, and then hopefully I'd like to volunteer at CGL. That's a goal that I want to do. I've been saying about it for months, but I still haven't done anything about it, but I will do it. And I would like to be generally involved in the recovery community a bit more. I think I've learned patience as well. I think I've learned that my need for drugs comes in waves, and with Buvidal I've kind of learned to pace myself through those, whereas with Esprinol, in the morning I felt like I had a really good dose, and at night it kind of was less, and I felt I craved more at night. But with Buvidal, because it's a continuous thing, if I do have cravings in the day, I can kind of just ride the wave and go through that, which is really great. How much it stung the first time, they kept that quiet, honestly. No, honestly, it wasn't that bad. But yeah, I think being told how much it does sting the first time would have been a nice heads up. But on the flip side, I think they didn't tell me, because if I did know, maybe I'd have said no. So, but no, it wasn't that bad. But no, I think I got all the information genuinely when I was doing the initial consultation about starting. I got given every leaflet possibly going, and I read them, and I was like, this is definitely what I want to do. And ultimately it cuts your pharmacy out. That's the big one. Secondly, you don't have to take something daily, which is great, and you have no hope in hell of losing it. We've all been there when we've lost our Esprinol, and we don't know whether it's in the car park at Tesco's, down the back of the sofa, somewhere. You hope your dog hasn't eaten it, but it's gone, and you've got no idea where it is, and you're scraping around, and you're trying to find it, but you can't lose your Buvidal. And honestly, that's the best thing about it. You can go on holiday with it, and security can't see it. Nobody knows you're an addict, and it's great. And nobody knows you're in recovery, and it's wonderful, and it's freeing, and honestly, I can't shout about it enough. Just that you guys are great, and you do so much, and I really appreciate everything you do.